All right, good morning, everybody. David Taylor, you're a piece of shit. Michelle Brennan, you're a piece of shit too. Give up your cult, give up your scam. Today, I'm going to go over an article over on culteducation.com if any of you haven't read it already. I'm going to go ahead and read off this. It's a pretty good sized article, and we'll touch on some of the things that are in this article, maybe some of the things we've talked about, and maybe there's some things in here we haven't. So I'll go ahead and get started. And again, this is on the culteducation.com. You can look up any cult on this website, and this is from one of the other YouTube channels. This is a resource they put out there. So I'll go ahead and get started with it. Pastor accused of running his multi-million-dollar Taylor church as a cult. We know that. Allegations of misconduct, financial misdeeds surround the Reverend David E. Taylor. News Herald, Michigan, April 1st, 2019, by Colin Maloney. To current members of Joshua Media Ministries International, the Taylor-based organization represents a path to the kingdom of God, a journey shepherded by a full-fledged prophet. To former members, though, the multi-million-dollar church at 20320 Superior Road that police monitor daily is a slave labor cult operating on an unholy trinity of intimidation, manipulation, and greed. Yep, we know that. In February 2017, former member Chris Sorensen was on fire for God. He packed his belongings into a car and drove from just outside Minneapolis to just outside Detroit, ready to become a full-time staff member of the church. He said he was burning with the desire to serve God. I wanted to be in ministry, he said, recalling almost 2 years later, that's what I wanted to do in life. I thought this was my calling. 6 months after joining, Sorensen left JMMI. He said the work of the church didn't add up, pointing to what he called misbehavior by church officials, including physical assault and sleep deprivation. Okay, so, witness testimony. He's witnessed the assault. So, okay, one count of crime. Okay, that's signs of a destructive cult. Assault, is there crime being committed? We have to focus on the behavior. There's this guy, Sorensen, saying he witnessed the assault. Okay. Other former members accuse the organization of taking advantage of individuals with the desire to serve the Lord by having them solicit donations, which were then used to enrich church leaders. A renowned gospel recording artist alleged that David E. Taylor, JMMI's minister, and her former boyfriend repeatedly violated his duties as a man of the cloth by having sexual relations with more than 40 women, many of them in his ministry. We know this. We know David sleeps around. For all you women out there that are getting in bed with David, don't do it. Just a word of advice, okay? Any of you who are thinking about getting in bed with them, any of you that have, get checked. He preys on women. From March 7th to the 9th, JMMI hosted a Women of Destiny conference at its Taylor headquarters near the intersection of North Line and Allen Roads. A 4-minute promotional video from the gathering hypes the event. Your life will be phenomenally revolutionized, and its leader, the Lord, appeared to David E. Taylor and commissioned him to help you fulfill your identity and destiny. The videos, footage of Taylor preaching is spliced with imagery of female warriors and backed by swelling dramatic string music. Yeah, it's repetitive cultish string music. It's made to it's almost made to put people in a trance, like a form of hypnotization, like hypnotizing people. Taking place during the Women's History Month, the 3-day conference was met with protests from individuals calling JMMI a slave labor cult. Some of the protesters were former church members, while others were friends and relatives of past members. Hank Dunkerson, who lives in Kentucky, said he came up to show support for his cousin Vicky Yohe, a Dove Award-nominated gospel recording artist who began speaking out after her relationship with Taylor ended last year. You spoke out because you found out he was sleeping with other women. Yohe said the minister considered her a spiritual daughter during her 16th-month relationship, a tactic she alleged he has repeatedly used to have sex with women in his ministry. Yeah, we know that. He preys on women, she said. He does not honor women. Women are just a vagina. And that's quote, unquote. That's Vicky saying that. Vicky, you sold your soul to him. Sorry. You're just as guilty. According to Yohe, Taylor made a habit of buying her expensive gifts, including Lubu, it's red bottom shoes, $1,000 pair of fucking high heels, but you didn't give them back, Vicky, you kept them. A fur coat and a jag, we all know that. And she also says that the money came from the JMMI accounts. We know that also. This is where the fraud is involved. He said God just spoke to him to bless me with a car, she said. So that money from my car eventually came from the JMMI, from JMMI. Absolutely, he said. He says that. He doesn't deny that. He says, yes, our ministry blesses other ministries with vehicles sometimes. But actually, David, you have like fucking 14 vehicles, 15 vehicles, but some of them are probably leased. Yo, he went public with these claims in December. Only 3 months earlier, she recorded a video of herself defending Taylor following a Charisma magazine story accusing JMMI and its leader of spiritual abuse. She said Taylor responded vindictively when she first told him she was going to speak out regarding his philandering. Yeah, we know that too. That's his tactic. We know that's David's tactic. He scares you. He says, your family's going to die, you're going to get cancer and all this other bullshit. David, you're a piece of shit, man. He told me if I went public, I would get cancer, she said. He puts all these curses on people when you first get with him, asking for naked pictures, inappropriate pictures. If you even think about getting mad or you want to break up, or if you expose him, he's going to send those pictures out. He said other women have told us similar stories detailing their experiences with Taylor. Again, all you women out there that are thinking about getting in bed with this guy, don't do it. Fair warning, don't do it. If you're going to sleep with him, make sure he double wraps it, okay? I mean, it's actually bad form. You're not supposed to double wrap it because it will break the other condom. But, if you're going to get in bed with him, just think twice about it, okay? He said she shared risky photos with Taylor and that he threatened to release them after she went public. In Michigan, so-called revenge porn is illegal and punishable by imprisonment and a fine. Actually, it's not. There's no law in Michigan stating that. We looked it up. While protesters were being interviewed outside the church March 9th, counter-protesters from JMMI marched in a circle chanting, "We love God, we love America." Many of them carried signs reading, "JMMI loves God's kingdom, and we are here to save America." When asked for comment on the protesters and allegations against JMMI, a man in a suit later identified as the Reverend Joseph Bush said that JMMI planned on releasing a statement. A statement never came, and repeated requests for comment from the church and its ministers were not returned. Yeah, and you know what? They're probably never going to get one. Until local, federal, state, all the authorities go in and bust this guy for his fraud and scam that he's been running for the last 15, 20 years. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. So you're not going to get you won't get a response from these guys. Guarantee it. A repeated destination for police. Since 2016, the Taylor police have had 30 calls regarding JMMI. Some were seemingly innocuous, while others, including a bomb threat, suggest a climate of tension between current and former members of the organization. On May 5th, 2017, that's 4 years ago, according to a Taylor police report, a former member threatened to blow up the church. According to the report, the man was angry that God created him, but he couldn't kill God, so he would kill the pastor of JMMI. He claimed to know how to rig the furnace and or water heater to cause an explosion. When Taylor police responded, they offered to search the church for anything suspicious or to bring in a bomb dog, but church officials declined. They won't let anybody in that building that's not affiliated with that church. It won't happen. It won't. Nobody will get in there. That's like a secret society. On June 8th, 2018, that's 3 years ago, a former member of JMMI reported alleged assault at the church. The woman said she went to JMMI 5 days earlier to see her father and sister, both of whom were members. Upon entering the premises, the woman said she was confronted by members about her bad attitude and told she shouldn't be at the church. That woman reported then being forcibly pushed and pulled from the property. Nearly 3 months after that episode, at the end of August, a father requested help from police in getting his son out of the JMMI building. He told officers his son worked at the church, though he wasn't sure in what capacity. If people are there voluntary, there's nothing the cops can do about it. And that's the shitty thing with cults is, again, you can believe anything you want in America, and people are free to believe whatever you want. It's not against the law to be in a cult. Again, if it's a destructive cult like David's where there's abuse, then it's something needs to be done about it, okay? Taylor police agreed to assist, classifying it as a mental health commitment. 7 police officers met at a nearby Burger King with a plan to pick up the son. Officers involved the west and east side of the covered the west and east side of the JMMI building, then waited for the son to come to his father's vehicle. When the son eventually did did so, the officers approached him and placed him in handcuffs, putting him in the back of a patrol car. While this occurred, officers noted that several men in suits exited the building and stood in the vestibule while watching and filming. Man. So this shows that, okay, crime number 2, manipulation of fucking mental, people with mental health crises. How is that not a crime? Okay. Other Taylor police reports related to JMMI include a sudden death and a missing persons report, both filed in November 2017. So here we are, we're working back here in time. On November 5th, 2017, a 57-year-old man died of natural causes while attending a prayer group at JMMI. Taylor police and firefighters arrived at the scene around 2:15 a.m. in the morning and observed a group of people chanting and singing and touching and pressing down on the body. A witness told officers that when people pray at the church, all of them faint under the light of God. She told officers the deceased was sleeping and God would wake him up soon. Holy fucking shit. So there's actually a death at your church at 2 in the fucking morning. 2 in the morning. What the fuck are you guys doing up at 2 in the morning? A police detective took some items, including a stack of credit cards and ID from the deceased, and turned them over to his wife. Deceased, I'm sorry. That came out kind of funny. The county medical examiner was called to retrieve the man's body. The cause of death was later determined to be heart disease. Okay. But still, dude, the fact that somebody died in your church, like under your fucking watch, dude. How did the police not fucking have any red flags when this happened? 2 days later, in a separate incident, a woman reported a friend as a missing person. She told police the friend had come to Michigan 2 years earlier to join JMMI and hadn't been seen in person by his parents in over 18 months. She said church officials gave her different stories about the whereabouts of her friend. She also said she found his vehicle in the parking lot with expired plates. The police report states that she feared he had been brainwashed, and yes, there's forms of mental manipulation, yeah, and thought manipulation going on here, most definitely. And again, there's nothing wrong with believing what you want, but when there's people in mental health crises, and these cults are taking full advantage of that, how is that legal? At what point does the law get involved? Say, hey, no, this is going to stop. You're done. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. At what point do people with mental health crises, being manipulated by these cults? Where is the legislation against that, or where is the crime on that? Is that a crime? Could we consider that a crime? Preying on mentally unstable people, like these cults, preying on mentally unstable people and manipulating them to do whatever they want, pretty much. Chess pawns, chess pawns. Taylor Police Chief John Blair said his department is monitoring the situation at JMMI on a daily basis. Well, guess what? I'm going to find out. We are working in conjunction with another agency to determine if there's any criminal wrongdoing or anything at all that's improper that's occurring at the location, he said. While Blair declined to name the other agency his department is working with, Yohe said she's working with the FBI. Vicky, you're full of shit. Special Agent Mara Schneider of the FBI's Detroit field office said she couldn't confirm or deny the existence of any investigation involving JMMI. And they won't tell you that. Of course they won't. They're going to keep that tight-lipped. That's what you do. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's the art of war. If you want to know what somebody's doing, you keep them real close. So the FBI will be tight-lipped. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us if there's an investigation into it. If there's information that can be given, you can call these people and give the information over to them anonymously. So if there's victims out there, from any cult for that matter, call the FBI, give it to them, give them the information. Visitations from Jesus. Told you this is a bit of a long article, and I'm kind of enjoying reading it. When Chris Sorensen first heard about JMMI, it was through books written by Taylor, the church's self-proclaimed apostle. The first, released in 2009, is titled Face-to-Face Appearances from Jesus, the Ultimate Intimacy. According to its Amazon page, the book is a 256-page account of Taylor's visitations from Jesus, quote unquote, which claims to teach its readers how to meet Christ face-to-face in person and experience multiple appearances from him on a lifetime basis. The author biography section states that Taylor most prizes his face-to-face appearances, relationship, and friendship with Jesus. I got associated with Taylor's ministry in January 2015, Sorensen said. That's when I very first heard of the guy and saw ads for his book saying, if you buy this book and you read it, you'll see Jesus. So I took the gamble and bought it, and I read it. After finishing the book, Sorensen got a message from JMMI. I got this Facebook message. Okay, here's something else we were talking about, how they are using public social media platforms to indoctrinate people and manipulate people and scam people. Facebook message. Facebook. Fuck you, Facebook. I got this Facebook message. He said, oh, Jesus told me to reach out to you. I was in prayer last night, and I was drawn to your page to contact you. I'm like, oh, wow. I just read your book, and now you're reaching out to me. I was so honored. When Sorensen arrived in Michigan to work at the church, he said he realized the message was nothing more than spam mail, sent relatively indiscriminately to thousands of people like him. Yes, that's part of your scam. You indiscriminately send people out messages on Facebook. When they send likes out or they write anything on your page, you go ahead and you start spamming their fucking Facebook or their emails. So, again, another crime. You're using social media to indoctrinate people. He would later learn, this is again Sorensen, he would later learn of the inner workings of a ministry machine that he said was focused on bringing as much money as possible, he said. He said, JMMI, which according to tax records brings in millions of dollars in donations every year, developed email and phone call solicitation scripts, so we know you guys are scripted, for members to follow, sending out thousands of messages each day in an effort to hit certain benchmarks. Every single staff member had a $500 per day quota you had to meet in donations, or $20,000 collectively. $20,000 a day is what you had your staff bring in? You're a fucking piece of shit, David. I can't believe you, dude. You're disgusting. You pretty much work every single day. You might have had one day off a month. I remember I'd want so much for a day off, and just week after week would pass, and I just never got the day off. So you're always sleep deprived. You never can catch up on sleep. Sorensen described an example of how the church's Facebook team operated. After working and praying from 8 a.m. to 11:30 p.m., he said he regularly worked from midnight to 4 p.m., typically sending copy and pasted messages to users who had liked a Facebook post from a well-known televangelist page, Billy Graham, Benny Hinn, Joel Osteen. The goal, he said, was to send 1,000 messages per day, which required creating dummy accounts to avoid Facebook spam filters. Fuck you, Facebook. Dummy account, okay. He said he usually slept around 3 hours each night. During his 6 months with David, Sorensen also said he was repeatedly told to leave his wife, who was skeptical of Taylor and JMMI. He said he also witnessed Taylor physically assault other JMMI members at their building. He recalled Taylor coming in late at night yelling and screaming at 7 men. Okay, so again, witness fucking testimony here, and nothing is being done. He just started off on this one guy, and he just started slapping him, Sorensen said. I'm thinking this could have been Chin Kim, because from other victim witness statements, Chin, you took the brunt of the abuse, brother. I'm sorry, man. If you want help, we're here. He slapped him 2 or 3 times, knocked down to the ground, and just grabbed him by the collar and shook him. He just went one after the other, slapped them across the face, pushed them down to the ground, sit over them. And that's, again, this shit has been confirmed by numerous people now. Sorensen said 4 of the men were being corrected for smoking weed, and 2 of them infractions with females. The 7th happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. An alleged money-making machine tax filings for JMMI indicate the organization had total revenue of $4 million, just a little over $4 million, like 4.1 in 2017, all from gifts, grants, contributions, and membership fees. From 2013 through 2017, the organization received over $12 million in the same categories. The church taxes filings in this list its minister as its highest compensated employee, but does not detail the amounts he's paid. Another fucking scam crime. Even as millions of dollars were funneled into the church, some past members said the congregation's leadership always wanted more. Greedy fucks, man. Sorensen and Bill and Lisa Hody, two other former members, said JMMI instructed church members to claim homelessness with the state of Michigan in order to get EBT cards. Members then allegedly pulled the cards to an appointed designee who would shop for everyone at nearby stores. This is a quote unquote. This is somebody's quoting this. Every person had to have an EBT card, a food stamp card, Sorensen said. They said that if you don't get one, then you're not going to eat. So you have 50 people to feed, and one card will last one day. You'll totally empty one card on the whole entire staff, and it's not for you personally. It's to spend on the whole entire group. So you're not using your own card. I was in charge of it. I had to make an Excel spreadsheet of the status of everyone's card, and we kept them all in this little Trapper Keepers plastic box. EBT fraud. Here's another fucking crime, guys. Bob Wheaton, Public Information Officer for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees welfare funding in the state, said the rules governing EBT fraud can be complicated. This is fucking bullshit. This is a federally funded program. I hate to get political, but this is the problem with our system is we have these government agencies that we pay. We pay our taxes, and when they don't want to do their job, it's the EBT fraud. EBT card fraud can be complicated. Bullshit. There's nothing complicated about it. Small details could make a difference as to whether an activity is legal or not, he said. Asked whether JMMI was being investigated, he couldn't confirm or deny the investigation. Also said he couldn't comment on whether any complaints have been filed against JMMI. I know they have. You know why? Because I filed a complaint against you. Because JMMI is classified as a church, it doesn't pay any property taxes to the city of Taylor. It does, however, pay special assessment charges for items such as street lighting, county drainage, etc. The church currently owes more than $3,000 in delinquent water charges, according to the city's website. I'll have to double check that and see if they're delinquent on any taxes, but I don't think they are. I think they're up to date on all their taxes. There was some information I pulled on the building, and I think they owe maybe like $14 in taxes. So they're up to date on that, which is good boy, David. You're paying your taxes there. Living at the church. Sorensen said church members routinely slept in the sprawling 29,000 square foot building, which is zoned for industrial rather than residential use. Here's another issue. Okay, so now again, here's witness testimony telling us what's going on in this building. He said some people had air mattresses while others slept on blankets on top of plywood. The Hodys also said this happened regularly and that the building, which occupies 2.5 acres, had neither proper dormitories nor showers. We had victim witness testimony of this, that the bathrooms smelled like piss and shit, and that there was one of the doors, there was only one door on the stall. There were 3 stalls and only one of them had a door in the women's bathroom. And said it just fucking stunk and just was nasty. They compared it to like a fucking dingy gas station bathroom, like a nasty gas station bathroom. There were many members that were living at the church, Bill Hody said. I would say a minimum of 10, sometimes more. And this is mostly guys who were staying at the building. I've also confirmed this. There's always 2 people there at that building. There's always somebody there staying there overnight, no doubt. The building was built in 2003. JMMI purchased it for $500,000 on December 26, 2011. The Hodys, who left JMMI almost 3 years ago, said the church had around 60 members at the time. After they left, they said around half of the members, all women and children, began living together in a house in Plymouth Township on a 6,400 square foot parcel of land, while the other half of all men began living together in a house in Brownston Township on a 13,000 square foot parcel of land. Some of these addresses I've already looked up. According to property records, the Brownston Township house located in the 24,600 block of Timber Ridge Trail is owned by Charles and Karen Smith. The Hody said Charles Smith is a current member of JMMI. The name Charles Smith shows up on incorporation documents filed with the Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs on behalf of the Kingdom Family Church, KFC. This is supposed to be Joseph's church. Let's see here. The nonprofit church arm of JMMI. Right, okay, so KFC, JMMI, right? Here's your fucking scam. reached via phone regarding the alleged living conditions. Smith acknowledged owning the house. However, he denied more than 20 people residing there. He would not specify an exact number of people before hanging up. I know for sure that there's people, there's multiple houses, and multiple men are staying at these multiple houses. Same with the women. Dispatch logs from the Brownson Township Police Department show a mother requesting a welfare check for her child at the address August 27, 2018. That same day, according to logs, the mother advised police that her son is in a cult and has court-ordered paperwork with the seal of commitment to a mental health facility. Less than 10 days earlier, on August 19th, another call requested a welfare check at the address. Police conducted welfare checks when an individual fails to respond to a message from family, friends, or other loved ones who fear their individual may be in danger. The police declined to comment on the situation in their township. The Plymouth Township house, located in the 9,000 block of Woodgrove Drive, is owned by Chun-Lin Liu of Bloomfield Hills. Liu could not be reached for comment. I looked up that address too. It's a really nice house. On September 26, 2018, a Plymouth Township resident contacted police and expressed their concerns about the house on Woodgrove Drive. According to a police report, information was gathered, the report said. On January 23rd, a woman named Jennifer Janiak, hi Jenny, filed a report with the Plymouth Township Police Department listing the Woodgrove address as her residence. She claimed that Yohi, the gospel recording artist, was harassing her via Facebook after looking at both women's Facebook pages. The Plymouth officer said he did not observe any harassment or threats. You guys are funny. You always say you're going to get people like terrorists and harassment and all these other threats. Not going to happen. Janik's Facebook page displays pictures and quotes from Taylor and states she works at JMMI. Okay, JMMI is no longer JMMI. It's Kingdom of God Global Church, according to his YouTube channel. And the Miracles in America channel got taken down because it was reported so many times. Many of her posts promote Taylor's upcoming public engagements, including a May 3rd and 4th crusade against cancer in St. Louis and a July 10th and 11th Mission Save America Arena Crusade in Orlando. We all know that's not happening, guys. And his stage it's a lie. Okay. So that was the article on culteducation.com. And again, the reason I'm reading this is because this new channel I'm following called Profiling Evil, these guys did a really good bit the other day about cults. And they referred me over to this website, looked up everything. Everything here is pretty much everything that's kind of already, I guess, known. But if the evidence, if anybody needs evidence, there it is. There's your witness testimonies. So, questions, comments, concerns, you guys leave them below. Sorry, it's kind of a long video, but I wanted to read that article out and just, if that way, if you guys don't have time to read it, you can just listen to it. And, leave your comments below. We need more people to come forward out of this cult. We're here to help you guys. So, if you guys need help, let us know. We'll do everything we can in our power to get you the help you need and get you to a safe place, away from David, away from Michelle, away from the abuse, the manipulation, the destructive behavior. Because David, you are a destructive leader. You're a destructive cult. You're a destructive leader. You've brainwashed so many people. And again, there's evidence of the crimes right here. We have witness testimony. Why aren't the authorities doing anything about it now? I want to thank you, all the subscribers. Appreciate you guys watching the channel and helping me and backing me up on this. The more people that know about this ass clown, the better. The less people he can scam. When I have people contact me and say, "Damn, I'm glad I found your channel or your group," because I was about to go and talk to this guy and maybe join his ministry and maybe start believing what he's saying. No, don't believe in what he says. Anybody. He's a destructive cult. He will destroy your life. He will destroy your family's life. He'll destroy your finances. He'll destroy your relationships, your marriages. He'll destroy your spirit, your soul. He'll destroy you. So, questions, comments, concerns, guys, leave them below. Sorry, it's such a long video. I'll try to keep them shorter, but that was the article that I found on that culteducation.com. So, David, you're a destructive cult, man. You have all the traits of it. You have every one pretty much. So, questions, comments, concerns, guys, leave them below. David Taylor, you're a piece of shit.